Hey everybody, I'm David Herring and welcome to ProviderSMART, brought to you by CNSG and AppSmart Company. Today we have our great friend, Mac McClenathan with Green Cloud. Mac, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good day. First day of fall. It's a good day out there. We're going to talk about Green Cloud. We're going to talk about some resources and things for our partners. But first, let's talk a little bit about how you got into the channel, Mac. I've known you for a long time. You started working in the channel with our vice president, Randy Friedberg. Talk to us a little bit about that and how you got into the channel.
Yeah, I was in the quasi channel with Paytech coming out of the direct side. I kind of had a little hybrid role. I did want to get into the channel, and Windstream gave me the opportunity to do that. And Randy and I were on the same team for a little while. After a couple of years, he gave me a call and was building the sales team at Green Cloud, and I ended up making the jump.
Oh, great. Now, do you still work with some of those partners today that you worked with back then?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Relationships were brought with me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's really what the channel's all about, is those relationships. And that's what we really pride ourselves on too at CNSG. All right, let's talk about really exciting week. We'll talk about some resources and things, but this is an exciting week because you had a new product launch at Green Cloud that's going to really help and enable our partners. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I actually think the S3 Object Store option is coming to Green Cloud as of today. It's available. I think that more than anything else, it actually gives us more of an upmarket option that's a little bit more universal with all the different hardware manufacturers out there or different backup softwares. Traditionally, if we supply Veeam licensing, for instance, for backup, as the only data protection option, where S3 gives us the ability to be a target for just about anything that has an S3 that can leverage S3, right? So that could be Veritas, could be Comstore, could be Veeam that customers already got deployed and they want to leverage it that way. It could be NetApp or Pure Storage or even NAS offload. So it gives us a lot more university capability upmarket with a lower end storage cost, to give us a couple different looks.
No, that's great stuff. Our partners are going to love that, and they're going to want to learn more about that. We'll have some detail at the end of the call. Let's talk a little bit about Green Cloud. What's your main play? What's your main line of business? What do we want to be bringing up on calls with our partners to potential customers?
Yeah, so our bread and butter is infrastructure as a service. That's what's billing the most with us. There are kind of get in the door solutions with backup and disaster recovery as well. But infrastructure is what we hang our hat on. That's kind of what we're the best at. We're up to 6 data centers now. I think when we first partnered with CNSG, we had 1.5. So we've grown a good bit, both as Green Cloud and with CNSG over time. And I think just allowing us to get in and help you run discovery and figure out what the customer needs on the infrastructure side is our strong suit.
Yeah, that's awesome. 6 data centers, that's a lot. You've added 5 since we originally partnered. That's a great thing. Where are those data centers located? All over the country, or do you have them in different places around the world? Where are those?
Yeah, good question. So we're all U.S. We don't have any international sites. Some people look at it as a positive and some don't. But at the end of the day, if they need their data in the United States, that's a good story for us. We've got north, south, east, west. Minneapolis is our furthest north. In Central, we've got Houston, Texas, Phoenix on the west side, Atlanta, and we have Greenville and Nashville as well, that are our 2 legacy sites that have been around the longest.
That's great. That's great stuff. Our partners are going to love to hear that. All right, let's talk about some wins. We actually had a big win with CNSG, one of our founding managing partners, Ali. Let's talk about that actual prospect and how you guys brought that in.
Yeah, it really wasn't. Dave Hopper, I think, qualified the opportunity, recognized a possible fit for us more or less along the lines of we could react quickly and morph over time, and which was required in this situation. They had a security event. Things were locked down. They had to do some forensics. So their local environment was totally off limits for quite some time. So when I got the call, it was, hey, can we spin up one server super fast, and this will grow over the next couple of weeks as we basically rebuild our environment. So one server in our shared environment, within the next week turned into 9 servers in our shared environment as they grew and started to build back and, reestablish connectivity with their employees. in applications, and then ultimately decided that they had some things that would be better fit for a private cloud. So they continued to build out and grow in the shared infrastructure while we ordered the hardware, implemented the private cloud, and now we're in the process of actually transitioning to the private cloud. So I think the biggest win for them at the time was the ability to react quickly, and to make these changes and kind of help evolve as things were coming up for them that they didn't expect. And it was a bit of a fire drill. We were able to accommodate, and so far everybody's doing well. And I would say it probably falls in the referenceable category.
Yeah, that's great. And that's awesome. And you mentioned some good things that that me and Matt Jr. and Tyler try to do a lot with Green Cloud Opportunities is get Dave Hopper involved immediately. Get Dave involved, get Max, your good sales engineering team involved early, right? Early and often. And that's how we bring these things home.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're not selling anything super proprietary in a sense that we don't have any, IP in a sense that we own the backup software or the, DR software. We're buying kind of best of breed and aggregating and providing a managed service with enterprise technologies, typically making them available to a market segment, potentially down market, that they really wouldn't be able to afford them or do them on their own. But the value that we bring is we've just been around this space for a long time. So I've been at Green Cloud for 8 years now, since the very beginning. And in cloud years, that's like dog years. So I'm an old dog in the channel cloud space.
Yeah, with the industry, we talk about that all the time, but that's super important. I think that experience and that knowledge really, it's helped me over time build that, and understand and help our partners better. So let's talk resources a little bit. So like I said, we have myself, Matt Jr., Tyler, Dave Hopper, of course, our sales engineer. We have managing partners across the country that any of our partners can call on to help with an opportunity. What are some resources that Green Cloud has if our partners needed them for a potential prospect or a call?
Yeah, so I'm going to be the main point of contact. The resources at my disposal, and kind of figure out how we do it, or I guess who we need to use for any particular opportunity, that can provide demos of the DR platform, or I guess demos of the security platforms. That's kind of a big thing these days, and where a lot of the conversations are coming out of. We rolled out a managed security practice last year, and I say practice, not product, in the sense that it's not one thing. It's a category of 9 different services that can complement what a customer already has or be bundled together to be the total solution. And when we're talking about different tool sets and bringing some comfort to an end user that wants to see how it's made, the ability to demo and walk through and match what they need up with what we have, it's crucial, and we have those resources to do it on the back end.
No, that's great. And I think, again, they love working with you, Mac. It's a big help. We didn't talk about this, but I was just thinking, we're in the middle of a pandemic during this taping. 2020 has been a really different year for all of us. 2021's, we're probably going to grind into this a little bit next year too. I think, did part of that, like just disaster recovery and planning through the pandemic, has that helped the business a little bit more? Are these CTOs and IT directors, are they a little bit more aware of the need for this type of stuff?
Yeah, we saw a real quick hit coming out of the gate with folks trying to either expand or implement terminal services or even desktop as a service in some cases, to get folks access remotely. That kind of slowed down all the activity, had a bit of a lull, and it's picking back up now where they've seen the gaps, they've done some, they've taken a breath, they've kind of reevaluated where they want to go from here, and then we're kind of starting to see that tick back up of more host-based options, just because of all of the office lockdowns and all that.
Yeah, it was weird. I was in Randy's office in Charleston the other day, and it was half full. So it's a different time, and a lot of these solutions are selling into this type of scenario.
Yeah. Well, strangely, a lot of the conversations that came out of that had more to do with security than infrastructure, only because, managing and securing remote workforces is a lot more challenging than, locking everybody down in an office. So I don't know that I saw that coming as much. I would have thought that terminal services and desktop as a service would have seen more of a bump, but the security conversations really ramped up.
Yeah. Well, and what are you logging on to when you're at home, right? Like, where's that network going? And yeah, that's just crazy. Okay, great. This has been great. Again, we'll wrap it up here. And if you could give us any last words on Green Cloud or anything you want us to remember from our perspective, again, we want you to engage Dave, our managing partners or your channel managers quickly. Use CNSG Smart, use our resources. What else do we have? Anything else in closing, Mac, on your side?
Man, I think that the Green Cloud value is just we've been around a long time. We've seen a lot of things. I think we're better at challenging what the customer says they want to help them figure out what actually is going to solve the business problem that they're trying to solve. And that just is an experience thing. So with me and my resources, I think we've got a great story to help you close the loop there. And we all just happen to come out of the telecom side, so we know how it integrates with the other stuff that you sell pretty well. And can kind of help blend and bundle some stuff even outside of Green Cloud.
And I want to say goodbye with my good friend, Mackie Roberts.